Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. I'm back, guys. I took a couple of days off from making videos, but as you can see, the greenhouse has really taken off since the last time I made a video. And I want to show you some of the other developments that have happened in here. It took a while, but I'm going to show you some of the updates that have happened. Here we go. Okay, as everybody knows, I am experimenting growing the grapes. So I wanted to show everybody where they are now. You can see big, green, lovely, healthy leaves. Super excited. I've had to trim this actually 3 times already. Remember, this is one plant. And look how much room it's taken up over the trellis. And here is the progress of the grapes. I can get in underneath here so you can see the grapes are coming along really, really nice. Nice color. They won't get any more purpley blue. They'll be kind of a blush green once they're sort of grown out. See here. You kind of have sort of a green to them and they're sort of a blush. So we have a ton of grapes growing on this one plant. Over here. And also up in here. So tons of clusters. I mean, look at all these grapes. So guys, grapes in the store here right now are about $10.99 a pound, and I refuse. I will not. So we decided to try and grow some of these on our own, and so far I'm going to give it a thumbs up because this is somewhat of a controlled environment, and the grapes love it. So grapes in a zone 3, grapes for wine, and table grapes because I've got the purple grapes down here for winemaking, which I'm going to place soon. And I also put one more grape plant down here. He's just a baby, but he's finally starting to leaf out a bit. So we're going to have grapes completely around this trellis this year, which I'm super excited about. But as you can see, the one plant is just taken right over. All right, let's go to the other development. Okay, so here is the other surprise. Not the weeds. Forget the weeds. This is what I'm talking about. So if you take a look really close, if you guessed that this was rice, you got it. So this is a dryland rice, or you might even hear of it called an upland rice. And these types of rice will grow in very arid conditions where they don't need to be flooded. Normally when we think of rice, we always think of rice in rice fields and they have to be flooded. But this kind of rice requires you to grow it on dirt that is arid and dry in order to grow. So you can see that I've got all kinds of, besides the weeds, I've got all kinds of rice that's actually growing here. Some more. And you can see there that the rice is actually starting to form. So for all of those who want to try growing rice on your own, you can definitely do it. It is possible. We're growing it here in a zone 3. So give it a shot. Look for something called an upland rice and see if you can experiment and grow it in your area. Of course, guys, as everybody knows, I'm growing roses. So here's my left plant. And the right plant has gone all the way up now over the trellis. I can't even reach the rose anymore. It's way up there. So the roses are actually loving the greenhouse. I'll probably have to do a little bit of trimming. They're starting to get a little bit out of control, but they've given me some really great, beautiful roses, and they smell wonderful too. So, like I said, I wasn't expecting them to actually give me anything this year, but I'm getting a secondary blooming period, so this is awesome. And as a matter of fact, this stem right here is new. So it's pretty awesome. See if we have any cucumbers today. So we've got cucumbers starting again. Guys, we've already harvested cucumbers off these. Really, really sweet. But you can see cucumber, cucumber, cucumber. So once again, this is a gynoecious cucumber. So every flower that you're going to experience that's growing here is going to have a cucumber on it. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even see this one. Check it out. I probably got to this one a little late, but I'm still going to eat it. See if there's anything else hiding in here I didn't see. So far, I think we're okay. But we have got a ton of cucumbers coming up. So I got to keep my eye on these because once they start producing, they produce so fast. We'll be able to eat this guy as well in the next couple of days. Okay, tomatoes. Guys, the greenhouse has gone crazy with tomato blossoms. So we've got some cherry tomatoes growing. You can see all the different little blossoms here. And as a matter of fact, we have some cherry tomatoes that are starting here. So you can see all the way down. Got a nice little truss here. And they've actually pushed themselves through the cattle panel. So at some point, what we'll have to do is weave them back through and hook them with a tomato clip so that we can get to them. Then I've got to pick some pickles. So this is actually an organic cucumber. So some of these didn't actually get pollinated. So you can see here, this didn't get pollinated in time. So this is not going to it's not going to produce anything. These got pollinated. And here we go. Here come the tomatoes. All right. So it's July, and in the north, it's unheard of here to have tomatoes that are even this size. You can see here that they're all starting to come out now. I'm going to have to get the tomato clips and clip these guys up. You can see. Not bad. I've got a whole cluster of tomatoes in here. This plant is going crazy. And here we go. We've got our lychee tomatoes. So lychee tomatoes have sort of a bluish white flower to them. And they take a little bit longer than a regular tomato to produce. But like I said, you got to be careful because if you look real close, you got the thorns. So it's really easy to forget that if you're going to harvest. But I can't wait to taste and see what they're like. And then, of course, so these are my celebrity tomatoes. So these are a hybrid. So if you've never grown celebrity tomatoes before, guys, they are a reliable favorite here. We grow them every year at Not a Real Farm. You will never be disappointed. They always give you the most perfect tomatoes, and they taste really good too. But you can just see how many tomatoes are already producing on these plants. A celebrity hybrid. On this side. And then we have my Sartoroloes tomatoes. So you can see here, they're already starting to do their striping. So eventually this tomato is going to be purple and yellow together, which I think is going to be a neat combination to see. You can see the striping is already happening here as well. It'll be interesting to see how they end up. We've got, ooh, this one looks good. Check it out. Ooh, and this one is looking good. The weather here has been sort of off and on as far as trying to grow things. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Lots and lots of blossoms. So my tomatoes are just really, some of them are just really starting. You can see here, we've got what's called, these are little Roma tomatoes. They are a cherry tomato, but they're in the shape of a Roma. Absolutely delicious. You might even know them as grape tomatoes. More tomatoes on this one. Starting. All of these have to be pulled up with tomato clips because they're starting to get heavy now, so they're starting to lean forward a little bit, especially this guy here. But look at the blossoms on these. So it's going to be canning season soon. I mean, this is amazing. And these are my purple tomatillos. So I'm going to have to put some support on these because what's going to happen is this guy gets so long, he's going to start dragging on the ground a little bit. So, but you can see we've got the nice flowers. Everything is going great here, but he needs a little bit of support. All right. This is my other grape plant here. It's climbing up the cattle panel. So he's doing amazing. And I have another tomato plant here that this was a volunteer plant. So we decided to leave him. Let's see what he gives us. But big, beautiful, healthy green leaves. I'm really happy with everything that's going on this year in here. Let's take a look at some other stuff. All right. So in here, This is our zucchini plant. So guys, I've been harvesting zucchini off of here a couple of times already, and I think I showed you in the last video, it's okay to trim your leaves because sometimes the leaves will hinder the zucchini plant. But check this out. Check out, not the weeds. I'm getting blackberries. Check it out. So my blackberries are doing amazing in here. We've got lots of flowering. Now, admittedly, I was going to actually chop these, pull them out. I wasn't really sure a Primark blackberry was going to give me anything in terms of blackberry plants because they're not for this zone. But you guys know this channel is all about experimenting. So it actually is working. This year, I'm going to get a crop of blackberries out of this plant. And I have about 8 other plants that we can check after. But we're going to have some awesome blackberries, which I'm really happy about. So looks like the Primarks are going to be here to stay. Outside, I've planted an entire row of Chester blackberries. So those are out against the cattle panel. So we will have a ton of blackberries this year as well. Blackberry jam, anyone? And my favorite patch of flowers. So I've got my baby sunflowers here. They're beautiful. All the sunflowers are now starting to come into effect. Now, I did cut a couple of the purple sunflowers that I have, but we will show those on another video when the next set of flowers comes out. This is my catnip. So the catnip now, if you can see here, is now gone to seed. I'm just letting it grow out a little bit more, and then we're going to cut the heads off and we're going to shake the seed out of it to keep it. And remember when I was telling you that cilantro turns into coriander? So now you can see, so this was the cilantro plant. You can see where the cilantro leaves are. And then here, you can see how coriander starts, right? So if you're getting whole coriander from the store, it will come in these, almost like these little seed-like pods that you grind up. They smell awesome. I use this in my Christmas cookies every year. I always put a little bit of coriander in them. So if you're interested in growing it, it's super easy. You just let the cilantro be and it will turn itself into coriander. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 with this plant. You can see all of the different seed here on this plant. This one is starting to dry. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to harvest this. Next to it, we've got the chamomile. So the chamomile is flowering, but because I haven't been keeping up with it, it's also going to seed. So if you look here, you can see all the petals have fallen off and now it's brown. So take a look. The chamomile is going to seed. So if I don't actually get this in check, what will happen is it will reseed itself all in my greenhouse. So I'm going to have to go around and I'm going to have to collect it with a bowl or something like that to take all the seeds out of it and grow another patch of chamomile. But what a great herb to have for calming your stomach, getting rid of heartburn, and calming you before bed. Try some chamomile tea. It's great. All right, let's take a look at the beans. Okay, so here are some of my beans on the inside of the greenhouse. So this is one of my green beans that I've been growing in here. We've been collecting them off of the plant. These are called a Vortex bean. So this is a hybrid green bean. It's going to be very reliable. It's never going to let you down. You're always going to have a wonderful, tasty, extra long bean. And unfortunately, what's happening is it's actually just growing way up there. So I don't know how I'm going to get all those up there. Might have to get a ladder, but a really tasty bean. We've been actually having these all week. As a matter of fact, I just picked some yesterday to get to a friend because we have so many beans. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. And here, I'm going to take you over here. Here is my Egyptian walking onions. So you can see here now they're bulbing. And what we're going to do is once the skin is dry on this, we're going to collect the bulbs and we're going to put them up on the store. You can see here this one's already trying to sort of fall over and reroot itself. So we've got actually quite a bit of Egyptian walking onions and they're really cool. And like I said, we're going to put them up on the store, but I can't wait to harvest them and then actually try some of the onions too. Really cool plant to grow. Okay, just before we pop into the other gardens here, you can take a look. So this is my Cherokee Trail of Tears bean. You can see here we've already got lots of beans that are starting. And even at this this size. They're super tasty. I was supposed to collect a bunch and take them in, but basically what happened was they didn't really make it up to the house because I was too busy snacking. So you'll see them turn like this. They'll be a green sort of purple, really sweet, really tasty. Or what you can do is they make a great soup bean as well. So if you want, you can dry them right on the pod and save them as a soup bean. Easy to grow, easy to look after. Obviously, no fertilizer is needed. And you get so many beans. I mean, look, this is already filled up so much. All right, let's pop on in here and see what we got. Of course, everybody knows that this is the dill. The bee is enjoying it, that's for sure. We've got the dill going on. It's about to go to seed. So right about now is kind of when I want to start making pickles and putting some of this in there. But I mean, this is a giant dill. So this is almost 2 feet tall. It's amazing. We are now starting to get our cauliflower in here. So nothing so far to show, but you can see down here that it's actually starting to form the head. It's a purple cauliflower. This one's kind of behind a little bit. And look in here, it's starting to form way down in there. So we got a little bug damage. Remember I said I wasn't going to actually put any netting over it. We got a little bug damage, but you know what? They will survive. Cauliflower is actually really resilient to bugs. This one here is a purple graffiti, so this is going to be a hybrid. I'm actually really happy with this one. I grew it last year and the cauliflower turned out amazing. I stuck a few tomatoes in here because they were extra plants and I didn't have the heart to get rid of them. We've got some white cucumbers here. Look at all the blossoms. Let me just move this out of the way. Look at all the beautiful blossoms in here. So we should have a good crop of white cucumbers as well. They're going to start to come along pretty soon. Like I said, the weather's sort of been back and forth in terms of rain and then heat and rain and heat. Here is the potatoes. So they're showing me a little sign of distress. Almost to, I'm going to say probably they need a little bit more water. Been trying to let them kind of be on their own, but the sand is a little bit dry that they're growing in, but I can guarantee you they're still going to give me some really great potatoes. I'm going to take this weed out of here because this weed has gone to seed. This one right here. We don't need that. I don't want anything reseeding itself. Check that out. What is that? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we don't want that anywhere near our plants. We don't need any more seeds. Weeds, I actually should say. Let's get rid of this. Okay, onward and upward. Check it out. Got broccoli. Broccoli's doing awesome. So it's just starting to form. It's not very big, but you could eat it like this if you wanted to. Now, if you do take it this small, what will happen is it'll send a bunch of side shoots off that you can have little pieces of broccoli with it. We're going to let these get a little bit bigger. You can see here that when you're growing broccoli, you actually want the buds to remain tight. That's when it's at its best. You can see here it's starting to get a little bit hot, and that's why the flowers are starting to form on it a little bit. But you can see here we've got more little buds. And if you really look close, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but in there, yes, the infamous green poop, everybody. And we all know what that is. Our famous green caterpillars are around here somewhere. So I'm going to have to come out and start caterpillar hunting and get rid of those real fast. Otherwise, they are going to, you can see here, got some damage on the bottom of the plants. So if I don't get rid of them, if I don't come out here and pick the caterpillars, we might end up with an issue because they can overrun your garden. Okay, we've got our more green beans. So these are a provider bean. So these are full. I've got to get in here and I've really got to pick these. Let's see here. Ooh, look at this. Yeah, it's time to pick these. So on the weekend, I'm probably going to have to start picking some of these. They're big, beautiful, lovely beans. Look at this, they're full. One of the things too is you want to actually harvest them because if you don't, what will happen is the beans will all go to seed. and they won't start giving you new pods unless you actually pick them. So we got to start doing that. Here is something else I've got to do really quick. So my flagpole scallions, you can see in here, that's all seed. All of that is onion seed. So we got to start cutting some of this out. Otherwise, what's going to happen is it's just going to reseed itself and the seed's going to drop out, which I don't want to do. And this one's doing the same thing. This is how you replenish your onions without ever having to buy onions again. It's just save your own seed. All right, let's see what else we got here. The orange flowers that you see in here are calendula. So I've got a yellow calendula and an orange calendula, and you can see just how bright that orange calendula is. Calendula will self-sow. So what'll happen is you'll get these beautiful, wonderful flowers, and then the petals will start to fall off. And you'll see the seed right away underneath it. It's immature seed, but you can see that seed in there. And if you don't get that seed in time, all this seed from this pod will drop back into your garden, and this entire patch will start self-sowing itself. So you can tell I actually didn't get all the seed, and it's sort of decided to float to the back of my beds here. So if you've got a great place for calendula and you like calendula tea, which is great for your lymph nodes, go ahead and grow it. It's really tasty. See here, I've got more and more calendula. And if you deadhead it, if you don't want to save the seed, then it will just keep flowering. So it's actually really good. More tomatoes that I didn't have the heart actually to throw a lot of these tomatoes out, even though they were extras. And I tucked the Turkish watermelon in the corner. So you can see here, I'm going to let it just go right out over the bed. But I've got some really great leaves. So that one's doing really well. And I think I have another watermelon over here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is another watermelon that we've got growing here. So this one's actually doing pretty good. I'm just going to let it float on out over the ground. We should get some good watermelons from that. Let's check on the peppers here. Oh, before I get there, check out the dragon's tongue beans. If you've never tried growing dragon's tongue beans, super easy. Check out the color. Isn't that awesome? These are a very tasty bean to steam. If you try to can them, they do lose their color. But boy, do they ever taste good. Throw them with some butter. You'll be surprised. Okay, and now what we've got in here is we've got our French lentils. So you can see here, if I push this up, the French lentils have already started to put on their pods, right? So they don't necessarily like heat, but this July has been one of the coolest Julys I think I've ever seen for weather. So they're actually doing pretty good. And then here are the peppers. You can see the size difference in the peppers out here than in the greenhouse, which is amazing. So we've been getting lots of lightning, lots of rain. And you can see here I've got a ton of blossoms that are starting to come out. This one's starting to make peppers. They're all starting to make peppers. So this is really great. Let's see all the blossoms in there. So I'm going to say the peppers are most likely going to be a success this year. They're happy. They're doing their thing. Yes, I do throw peppers in the front of my bean bed. And then basically what I do is I just push the beans back so they don't lean on the peppers. Look at all these beans. I got to take a bean. I'm going to take a bean and walk around and eat while I'm showing you this stuff. But it's time to get in here because these plants are just loaded. So I'll do that on another day so I can just walk you through some of the garden. But amazing. As you guys can see, I'll try to show you sort of what the garden's starting to look like now that it's full. You can see all the bins are full of nothing but goodness. If you're wondering what this is here, if you've never seen this kind of plant before, this is asparagus. So the asparagus has gone to seed. And then I'm also letting my salad bowl lettuce go to seed. So you can see now, you could, I guess, eat it like this, but it will be very bitter. I'm going to let it grow tall. It's going to send up the flower stalk, and then that's when we're going to collect the seed, is when the seed dries on top, and then we'll never have to buy salad bowl lettuce again. All right, let's get in here. So here is my secondary bin of potatoes. So quite a color difference from the other potatoes, right? These are a nice dark green, the foliage. You can see here they're starting to flower. So these ones aren't in distress. The other ones in my other bed look like they're in a little bit of distress, but we'll see what we get from them. And of course, here's our garlic patch. So yep, I've got a little bit of weeds, but I've also got some really great scapes. You can see how big these scapes are. So what I'm going to be doing with this is keeping some to eat and saving some for seed. But look how big these are. Guys, if you've never cooked with scapes, they have such an amazing taste. If you've got some steak or ham or anything that you want to throw garlic over, amazing. Check it out. And we're back inside the greenhouse. I just wanted to show you my beautiful, lovely Swiss chard patch. Look how big and beautiful these leaves are. So we've definitely got to trim these. I like to saute the Swiss chard. They are definitely ready to eat. So we're going to be sauteing some of that this weekend, I think. I have a few friends that don't eat enough vegetables, so I'm going to be helping them improve their vegetable intake. And guys, we have corn. So I've already picked a couple of corn off already, but you can see that I've got my corn on the cob, and that's coming along really nicely. They're not quite ready yet. They're not where I want them to be because I need them to fall over a little bit more to indicate that they're done. But our corn is doing amazing. And the corn that I did harvest tastes super sweet, almost like sugar. So you can see how tall this corn is. Having a greenhouse, guys, does make a difference for sure when growing vegetables. So if you don't have one, that's okay. You can make a greenhouse out of anything. And a lot of people I know make greenhouses out of recycled material, which I think is an excellent idea. And I don't really need to point this out because you guys already know what this is. This, of course, is my horseradish patch. So you can just see how big this patch has gotten. It's almost out of control. And I can't wait to actually pick all of it and get it out of here and put it in the store because, quite frankly, there's so much of it in here that there's no way I'm going to eat all of this horseradish. Let's check on our figs. Let's see what the fig is doing. So this is my fig plant. Ooh, we're getting a little bit of thunder outside. My fig is doing amazing. And here we go, way in there. If I can show you, I'm starting to get a fig. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm actually really happy with that. And of course, just above here, we've got some more green beans. So they're starting to climb over the trellis. I allowed them to climb up the corn and through the trellis. And now they're going to continue to climb right on over. I love putting trellises in here because growing vertical is absolutely essential if you want to save room. So guys, that's really it for me in the greenhouse today and outside. I didn't want to make the video too long, but I did sort of want to give you a tour as to what's been happening in the greenhouse as far as tomatoes and peppers and everything else is going. You can see here that I've got all these peppers that are doing just fine, wonderful in the greenhouse, healthy, wonderful plants. These bins, they go the circumference of the greenhouse and they help so much with growing all this food. I've been giving them a shot of course, our soil enhancer here. I use this all the time. So you can use this for flowers, fruits, vegetables, trees, and shrubs and lawns. It's an organic marine phytoplankton. So if you haven't had an opportunity to try this, give it a try. It really makes a difference as far as, in my own opinion, for my plants. So that's it for me, guys, for the greenhouse. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, please pop them below. But you can see how beautiful everything is starting out now in the greenhouse. Everything is amazing. It has been a challenging growing year because the weather has been so back and forth, but we are making it through and we're going to harvest and we're going to put our food away this year. I wanted to thank all the new subscribers and everybody who's given me a thumbs up or a comment. Thank you so much. It's very appreciated. And if there is someone out there that hasn't seen this channel yet, that doesn't know that you can grow all this stuff in the north, pass on my channel. Let's get it growing. See you soon.